Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and rule well, and Shalom to all the brothers doing the work of sharing truth. There's an article on Fox News. Really shows how the conflict, the spiked back, between Amalek, and the Arabs in the state of Israel. The conflict has pretty much gone global. Because even from when it happened, you really had people all over. Like you had the missiles getting shot, places getting hit by Netanyahu, and then what do you call it? You had people like skirmishing, in the state as well, just like Palestinians running up on man and dup it, like fucking them up, and vice versa. So yeah, it's a madness going down, and that spread around because you had people what do you call it, skirmishing, because you had people what's it called, like doing the most, like especially with the pro-Palestine lot. Like you had a lot of these guys around the globe going mad. There's a clip of the guy in the UK, like 3 cars I think it is, driving around, and then they're just screaming like on a what's it called, sound, what's it called, a loudspeaker thingy. I can't even remember, man. The thing you speak into and it's just hella loud. The term evades me right now. Loudspeaker, maybe, probably. And he's just saying, yeah, just kill. He's saying kill. Saying kill Amalek, kill them, kill their family, kill their daughters, which is wild enough. Then he just said rape their daughters, and I'm like, bro, this is how rabid and wild it's getting. Like that shows just how amped everyone is, and that is just not gonna dissipate in like no time flat. Because even if you count, just I know in the UK, them man had like Palestine marches for years, man. Them man have been doing that for forever times. So yeah, it's the tensions built. There was what else? There was another clip. Fucking hell, in Birmingham, of some geezers going around. I think they go to a YouTuber's house, they smash up his house, throw bricks all up in the windows, smash through, charging the house. So where is he? Where is he? And they're saying, bring him out right now, bruv. I don't even they did that on Instagram Live. I think Instagram, no, or Snapchat. They did it on something. They were streaming it live as they were doing it. Just bare them rolling on his house, smashing it up, and running inside. There's like his family's there and whatnot. It was wild. I was like, this shit's like turning up. So that shows, and the thing is all that tension that's been built, that's got to go somewhere. They ain't just gonna, like, they say, oh no, there's a ceasefire. Apparently the ceasefire got broken within like what, either 16 or 6 hours. It might say it in the article. But what it says on Fox News, US seeing wave of textbook anti-Semitism. You know that term. Amid Israel-Gaza tensions, Israel-Gaza conflict has generated disturbing backlash against American, Amalekites. Let's see what they got.
We're also monitoring tonight how mainstream media outlets are...
Let me see.
No coverage of this whatsoever on the homepages of the New York Times had actually attacked Muslims, at a restaurant in the same manner, asking, where are the Jews, or chanting death to Jews, right? Or death to Muslims, in this case, if you're going to use that scenario, you would think that that would be covered extensively, as it should, because this is being investigated now as a hate crime. And look, I'm just looking forward to the statements from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Rashid Tlaib as far as saying this is wrong, this should not happen in this country, but we're not seeing that from those leaders, nor are we seeing the media cover this the way.
Yeah, these men are getting duppied. It's wild. It's wild because it's like I don't even remember. Have people been getting attacked up like this? I don't even know, because it's a bit different. Because you had the thing of Marv is meant to be getting duppied on the regular, which I don't know to what extent that was going down, in reality, but it was getting reported on the news, and yeah, I don't know. It's they were just putting out. I didn't really look into how often that shit was actually happening, and there's only like a few videos. There's more the shooting. They kind of made run with that. So it's like every time, every kind of event that comes up now, everything's being is down racial lines. It's always racial tensions, racial lines, and this whole the conflict in back in the state of Israel, in Palestine, that whole thing, that shit's old, man. I was reading up on that shit. I was like, bruv, they said this would have been the 40s, like soon after the I think like the UN basically said like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do the 2-state solution, and either it was when they started a 2-state solution, or it's when they set up the said certain man could go back to like into the side of Jerusalem they weren't meant to go to, and and get their houses and shit. But then bro, you had fucking Palestinian men like getting sniper rifles and just sniping civilians on buses, which is a madness, which is just fucking wild anyway. Like, bro, if a man was just out here sniping, man, like, no, that's nuts. That's nuts. But yeah, the man on a sniping civilians on a bus. Then like in response, like I think he killed like 5. I think he killed like 2 people on the first one, then like 3 people on the next one. That injured a bunch of people, like a bunch of Amalekites. Then in response to that, they then a bunch of Amalek men just went into like where there was a bunch of Arabs queuing up, and just dashed 2 bombs in there, and I think it killed like injured a bunch of people, killed like 5 or 6 people, or maybe 8. It was a little higher. So then in response to that, bruv, it just said that they massacred 39 people. I don't even know like what that means. That means they must, like, for it to be 39 as well, that must have been absolutely mad. That must have just been fucking nuts. Because man said they just massacred 39 men, and I was reading through. There's still more history, but it's just like, yeah, it was at that point, like after that massacre is when the British military, the old empire, the British military got involved to quell it, and it quelled for a bit, but then it just kept coming back up. So it's like, as far as this conflict, this shit's old blood. Like, these men are had no peace in the land. That prophecy has not been fulfilled for these men in the slightest. Men have not had any peace, no rest in the land, which is why you're just seeing missiles flying. Man are just shooting rockets. Man are getting annihilated by rockets in the land where it's meant to be at peace. So it's and all that's happened is what? Tensions increasing, and it's spreading globally, man. So I said, stop telling me this is okay. From New York and California to Illinois and Utah, the recent conflict between Israel and Gaza has generated a disturbing backlash against American JOOs. who have found themselves the target of death threats, hate speech, and violent physical attacks. Stop telling me this is about Israel and Gaza, said a New Yorker who was confronted by a pro-Palestinian mob on his way to synagogue this week. My people are being targeted across the US in broad daylight. This is textbook anti-Semitism, and we will continue to live in danger until the public starts to recognize it for what it is. What a hero. So it says New York troubling footage emerged late Thursday, showing pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian protesters clashing on a midtown Manhattan sidewalk. Despite Israel and Gaza having reached a ceasefire agreement earlier in the day, apparently they've already broken it. So it says police confirmed that 2 commercial fireworks were thrown from a car and 1 person suffered minor burns. Yeah. Oh wait, what? Clashing. Well, okay. I'm gonna assume that someone was actually swinging. I don't know. So it says New York Jays were already on edge from a disturbing video that showed an older man being viciously beaten by a gang of pro-Palestinians for wearing a yarmulke as he attempted to cross a street in Times Square earlier in the day. Police said the hate crime task force was investigating the gang assault and urged the public to come forward with information. Yes, so it's showing the tensions are spiking. That's what wearing a kippah in New York City always felt safer than anywhere else in the world. A prominent New York attorney told Fox News, "I'll never take mine off, but I will for the first time have to teach my children to be careful if they choose to wear theirs publicly," he said. Thursday's escalation came as little surprise to Israeli Americans who were personally attacked by a pro-Palestinian mob on the way to grab lunch, a well-known New York City bagel shop earlier in the week. Yeah, so it's the tensions are building because it's got New York, I think, say New Jersey, California, Illinois. Sickening. In a blatant act of anti-Semitism, pro-Palestinian supporters vandalized a synagogue with a Free Palestine sign and smashed several of the windows. Utah, Arizona, fucking hell, everywhere. So that's the thing, especially in the States. In the States, it's blowing up because, like, as far as for like the new kind of wave of like modern progressive kind of liberal types, they've like the Palestine cause is something that they've grasped onto for the long decade, well, longer than that, real long time. But I think as far as I've seen them kind of pushing it, it's like at least been a decade out. Man, I've been talking about like that shit for a while. So it's just as with everything else has escalated to violence. The whole, bruv, from when you had the lockdown kick in and then you had like the George Floyd kind of thing, everything's been everything's been racial, everything's been tense, everything's gone to like conflict. That's what you see in absolutely every incident. Ends up going down racial lines, and as such, then it's the racial lines. Ooh. So then it just lets you know the time we're in, and really it's how you can see how things are gonna escalate, and it's gonna give the leeway, for Esau to take bigger action, kind of regulating, policing these things, which you're likely to see, because just like with the UK, where they had laws being passed. What the fuck was it called? I think it's just called the Policing Act, actually. I think it's just called the Policing Act. The one they're doing to kind of expand their powers and like spread how they can stop. They say people protesting as well. So that can be targeted at brothers and as well. Just in general, it's like people resisting being able to bring them to heal. Matthew 24. It's up from verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, yeah. Wars, rumors of wars, that's what's been going on. And then what? That escalated into what? Into nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, everyone getting all upset. And then what? They shall then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yeah. So Jake, you know, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, who are the true Israelites according to the scriptures, they're gonna be the elect of them anyway, are going to be hated of all men. Because that's the thing, is all these racial lines. You've had the lines with Jake and Esau, Jake and the other nations, have been getting drawn hella. Like even Moab's getting a piece where they're saying like, okay, you know, Jake is coming in and assaulting them. So yeah, and yeah, when Esau's gonna, you know, direct these things at brothers and try and you know, hem them up. Because obviously, you know, brothers have been teaching the truth. They're just gonna say like, yo, that's unacceptable, and to come against, man, because that's the same thing that went down in you know, 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome. The old, you know, the dragon, you know, that received the deadly wound. The dragon, the beast that received his deadly wound. That original Rome, but then it was healed, and then you have the current you know, rebirth of Rome that we're in. Same things went down. So it says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Yeah, hella people offended, hella people hating one another. All that, you see, the conflict has just in general. Because it says, well, okay, yeah. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Yeah, so love of many is going to wax cold. And that's, you see that. That's why even old men are getting their wigs pushed back. It's actually wild. Because you really wouldn't, like, bruv, going out and seeing like old ass men getting the shit beaten out of them. It's a madness, bruv. You even had the two complete and total gremlins, like Jake women, like nabbing the car and smashing it and just cold killing the dude. Like it's everything's getting a fever pitch. Daniel 12:1, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Yeah, time of trouble, man. And that's a large part of that is gonna be Esau pushing that mark, that implantable RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, that implantable microchip. That's the key thing Esau's gonna be pushing, because he already pushed it out as a solution for this thing going around, you know, the C-19, and hey, that's that trouble, that harshness is being felt. Just like, bro, if you're watching videos of them fucking rockets flying over you know, again, flying into the Iron Dome defense system in the state of Israel, it's actually wild. Like, man is just there, like, at home. in a flat, just looking at rockets fucking flying up there, and you're like, yo, if the Iron Dome flops, it's a wrap. So it says, even as such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, the time that people shall be delivered, everyone shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Yeah. Those that abide in the work, man. It says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Yeah. So that's the thing, is these things have been hid, and they've been getting revealed through the apostles, which is why all these things from the apostles down, from the elder, like Elder Abba Bivens, Elder Yaquab, King Marshall, High Priest Ariel, on down, you know, basically where this truth came through, man. Those men, you know, we give double honors to. They've all been teaching the same word, man. That same truth, that same message. That really all the prophets throughout the scriptures have been teaching. So and it's what? It's about what? That time of the end. And then what at the end is when you know, all this conflict's gonna come, a time of trouble and a time of destruction such as never was before, man. And that's why you're seeing everything breaking down in society, and, you know, just destruction taking place, man, on a mass scale. Let's do. Because this is what it's all gonna culminate in. 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Yeah, so it's gonna result in that nuclear fire, man, taking, you know, completely annihilating America off the face of the earth. It's gonna be destroyed to the state where it will be uninhabitable. And that's the thing, is that's the level of escalation that's gonna come. Because okay, I think I'll grab this. Okay. Arise. Maybe small. Yeah. Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Yeah, so all the men of Esau's confederacy, they're all going to turn against him, man. They're all going to turn. In Revelation, this is what? They'll hate the whore and burn him with fire. Everyone that's currently allied with America, they're all going to turn on it. And that's the same thing that you're seeing happen. Really, you've kind of seen it over the process of time. Because you go back to just after World War II, and there's like these Amalekites were able to get, essentially were the most legendary victim that had ever existed on the planet Earth, which they still are to this day. Which is why it's like any form of hatred against them is now, you're like, it's a wrap, you're done. So as such, but now what, you know, through the process of time and witnessing what these men are doing, men are just completely willing to absolutely annihilate people, you know, uninvolved innocent men, women, and children in their airstrikes just to, get rid of the enemy. Which, if people accept that, then they're gonna, they're in for a big surprise. They're gonna find that they're gonna be sacrificed by their elites, man. Because as far as the guys at the pinnacle, the guys at the top, those certain elite banking families, they don't give a fuck about the regular peons, and that's gonna become more evident. This is what they eat thy bread of later wound under thee. There's none understanding in him. Yeah. So hey, these things, it's all it's becoming clear. It's that time, man. These things are passing as we're seeing them, and with our own two eyes, just like Job said. Seeing them times come, man. Where Yahushua return, Lord willing. See with my two eyes as well, man. But yeah, hey, it's getting rowdy, man. It's getting wild. Leave it there. Shalom. Yabashim Yashab Shem Kakadash Bakata.